Hello. So is this like for a demonstration later, or?
No, this is for s'mores.
Huh?
We're making s'mores.
Oh, I see. Okay.
They're not gonna let me, and I'm talking to you, like, stop, run. You wanna work? Yes or no? Yes. You gonna ask questions?
I can.
Okay, yeah, that's what I figured. Okay. They're gonna go live.
Okay.
I'm recording.
And then, Courtney, tell who you are, where you're from, and, you know, the Johnstown Women of Influence, and, you know, why you guys did this today, and then you just might want to just ask, I don't know if you want to ask some general questions, specific questions, or, you know, just go around, maybe each of us just make a statement about, you know. Okay. Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
Hello everyone, my name is Courtney King Square. I am president of the Johnstown Women of Influence, and I'm a proud Johnstown baby. I was born in Lee Hospital in 1982, but I was one of those kids that went away, went to school, came back, and now I want to pour in to my city and my neighborhood. So I'm so happy here to be facilitating questions for our Democratic candidates, and I know some of them very well, some I don't know well at all, but let us stress the importance of voting. Voting is your voice. These local elections, people worry about the big time elections, but these local elections are the changes that happen every day, your street, your address. So I have the pleasure of asking questions of people who want to make those changes. So right now we have in front of us, let me introduce you to some and, you know, see what they have to say. This is Lorraine Taylor, who is running for city council. This is Sylvia King, who's our mayor right now, but she is running for mayors right now. We have Taylor B. Clark, and we have Jasmine Larue. So if you're live right now, tell other people to go live, because we're going to ask the important questions. And I was a debate kid, so I don't shy away from hard questions. So the first question for the table, it's very simple. Why should we vote for you?
Go ahead.
So, hello everyone, my name is Jasmine Larue, as Courtney said. As a resident of Johnstown who has moved away, came back, tried to start over, living in public housing, things like that, I want to be a relatable candidate. I want to show that success can be found right here in Johnstown. You can overcome whatever obstacles, whatever circumstances you have. And my platform is, I would like to establish cleaner, safer communities and to help inspire our youth. I want our youth to realize that everything that they need is right here at home. And then I also would like to establish cleaner, safer communities. And we do that by building community, helping our neighbors. You see something, you say something, working with local nonprofits to help build our youth. So that's what I'm running for. Thank you, everyone.
Hi, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Taylor Clark, and I grew up in Westmont. Now I live in Johnstown, and just like Jasmine and others, I'm sure, I left and I came back. I attended Temple University and the University of Pittsburgh for political science and history, and I moved back because I had the opportunity to take over my family business. And my family business is in downtown Johnstown, has been for 135 years. We own Miller's Clothing, and we also own Coney Island. So that is my perspective. So why should you vote for me? Really what I've always been about is been about bringing more business to the city. That's my big thing, is to bring more business to the city, because I believe strongly that if you shore up downtown, the central business district, the effects and prosperity of that will be felt throughout the entire city. So my whole platform is specifically business friendly, bring more retail into the city specifically, and just to listen to the business community more. On more levels, I would say the community basis. Everyone here has talked and Sylvia for years has talked about the community and the importance of being a tight-knit community. I've said it myself time and time again that we cannot be prosperous if we don't support each other. So that's where I'm coming from, and that's a little bit about me. Reverend?
Thank you. My name is Reverend Sylvia King, and I am running for mayor of the city of Johnstown. Currently, I serve as the deputy mayor in this city, and I have been on council. This is my 8th year being on council. I am the pastor of Christ Center Community Church. I am also a 30-year employee of AmeriServe Financial, and I'm very blessed and proud to be able to say that, because nowadays people don't last 5 years, and I'll never forget when I sat in the seat and they showed me what my retirement date was, and I said that I would never make it, but I made it. I was born and raised in this town. I'm a graduate of Johnstown High School. I am a Trojan strong, Trojan proud. I also had the opportunity to live in other places and eventually made my way because of family concerns back here into the city. When I came back into the city, I seen a different city that I had left, and immediately, because of my upbringing, I knew that I had to become very much involved in what was going on in the city. I received my calling into the ministry, and as I began to do my work in the ministry, I was feeling the unction that there was still more that I needed to do, and that more that I needed to do was to run for public office and to become an intimate part of the interworkings in the city of Johnstown. Johnstown has a motto that we were always known as being clean, safe, and friendly, and I want to tell you that we are still clean, safe, and friendly. Maybe not as clean, maybe not as safe, and definitely not as friendly. Amen. But this is exactly where we need to get back to. Just this morning, a gentleman showed up at the church, and he told me, he was a veteran and he had just moved here. And he says, "I love it here." He said, "This place is so nice." He says, "It's beautiful." He said, "The people are friendly and warm." He said, "There's just no trouble here." And I looked at him and I'm thinking, somebody sent you here, right? You know, here it is, that this is what he thinks of our city. So one thing I know, one problem that we have in this city is that there's a lot of chaos. There's a lot of chaos and confusion. And the chaos, confusion, and hatred is what brings the city down. There used to be a time when we as a people worked together. And when we worked together, we were able to accomplish so many things. Yes, we do have problems. Yes, we do need to get better. But if you just would look around, you would see the progress that is being made. Just look downtown yourself. And while I know that everybody have their own personal feelings about Central Park, a group of young people stopped me in Walmart. And they started talking to me about the park. And they said to me, I am so excited about the park. And I looked at them and they said, because we want to do things in the park and we're glad that the park is being redone. That's our park. That told me right then and there that, of course, we all have feelings about the park. Guess what? I definitely have a lot of feelings about the park because my father worked for Bethlehem Steel, and town stayed open late on Thursdays, and on every Thursday we would go to the park and meet my father, and my mother would take us down there and we would go shopping. She would let us go buy something at the Joy Shop, and we would go to Gloucester Brothers Cafeteria and eat French fries with gravy. So I have my own personal stories and my own personal thoughts about the park, how near and dear it is to my heart. But if you live in a house for 50 years, after 50 years, your house needs remodeled, just like the park needs remodeled. And I'm proud that council decided to invest in the infrastructure of our city because it benefits everyone, not only in the city of Johnstown, but for those in the outer lying neighborhoods. I'm glad of the progress that is being made. Do we have issues? Yes, we do. But together, we can change that. Together, we can make a difference if we work together. We cannot get caught up in all the chaos, confusion, and I'm not even going to call it misinformation because it's not misinformation. It's just downright lies, okay? Let's just call it what it is. You know, and the hatred that is being spewed, that is no way for a leadership, that is no way for a city to be run, and that is certainly no way that anyone can move forward with that type of confusion that goes on. I'm going to continue my spirit of unity, my spirit of community. We're trying to bring the communities together. We're trying to work in the neighborhoods. As far as being business friendly, that's the reason why I work so hard in the neighborhoods. I know we focus a lot on downtown, but a lot of your mom and pop store, your entrepreneurships that want to start, they want to open up in the neighborhood where they live. Well, the one way we can make that happen is by ensuring that we clean up our neighborhoods a little bit more, make sure that they're safe and friendly, that we have adequate housing stock. I talk about poverty a lot, okay? We can't police our way out of every problem. Poverty and the lack of housing, mental health, those things have a lot to do with crime. So we can focus on those, but we can focus on those as a community. We can make sure that we have programs, and I know that that's the right way to do, and I'm going to continue to work in those veins, continue to work with those nonprofit organizations to ensure that we are addressing these issues, trying to do what we can to help uplift the people, to bring the community together, and that will bring change. Sorry, Lorraine, but I thank everybody for their support. I thank everybody for coming together. It used to be a time when we knew each other. The neighbors knew one another. You knew who lived next door to you. You know, we need to get back to that. That is what's going to change things. That is what is going to bring us back to where we were and where we need to be in order to rebuild our community. I thank you for your time.
Hello guys, I am Lorraine Brandon Taylor, and the reason why I am running for city council is because I did what everyone told us to do. They say get out of Johnstown, go to school, get an education, and I did all of the things that I was told to do. And when I came back from Atlanta, there was things that they didn't tell you, that when you're moving to a different place, the things you need to know. And when you're coming from a small town, being a small time girl from Johnstown, there were different things that there was a climate change from Johnstown to Atlanta. So they don't tell you about that, and they don't tell you about the mental stress that you have to be in a different place when you're from a small place like this. I'm used to being able to trace you. If you are a Johnstowner, you know we're going to ask you, what is your last name? Because we're trying to place you, and we need to know where you belong. So when I came back, God allowed me to come back, and I opened up a tax office. And my thing was, when I came back, he said, I'm sending you to your people. And I didn't understand it then, but I understand it now for a time like this. I want my children to be able to not feel like they have to leave Johnstown to be successful. I want them to understand that you can be successful going to Greater Johnstown School District. I want them to know that they're bigger than their situation and their circumstance. And how do we do that? That's by getting in the community, getting in the neighborhoods, and I'm a strong believer that representation matters. We have to get to the children, we have to get to the communities. I've been in business for 10 years in an accounting firm, and it's not easy when you're in Johnstown because you don't know what services you can get. I'm running because I sat back and I complained like everybody else. Johnstown don't have this, Johnstown doesn't have this, we don't have this, and come to find out I was incorrect. We have a lot of services, and there's a lot going on, and I was running initially because I kept saying we need transparency. No, we don't need transparency because it's transparent enough. What we need is clarification. People don't understand what there is out there because there's so much going on. Johnstown has so much going on that you never know what's going on because we stay in our little areas and we're not bringing back community. We need grassroots. We need boots on the ground. We need to go back to, hey, who are you? What's your name? Hello, welcome to the neighborhood. I am a business owner and I am a vendor and I am running on business growth because not everyone are going to be able to have the fortune to be able to inherit a business and run a business and have all of those things. You're going to have a lot of people that are going to have to figure this out from the mud. They're going to have to figure it out on their own. And we need to have the resources available, and the resources are available. We just need to show people, how do you get to the resources? Who has the resources? And we have to break the stigma of having resources are bad because the resources coming from X, Y, and Z. We need togetherness. We need people to help move this city along, and there's a lot of organizations that are doing so. So we all need to get on one accord and get back to togetherness, being friendly, being personable, understanding, because I don't want my babies to leave. As a foster parent, I've learned that community is important. I've learned that everything is not common, and a lot of things are learned behavior. You cannot do better if you do not have the tools and the resources. So once the tools and the resources are given to you, if you don't know how to utilize them, they go to waste. So my goal is to run and to bring back communication, bring back clarification, get back into these communities, show businesses, how can we do this? Do you need help? Let's aid and assist and show them what direction to go. Hey, do you need your local taxes? Hey, you have to go here. Hey, you need to go there. To just being able to show people what we have to do, because we're in a season that we need to have everything inside the house, and we have it here. So those are my reasons for running for city council. Thank you.
Thank you for all of your statements. That really means a lot, especially all of you, and I have the same story too. You left and came back, and somebody once said sometimes you have to leave so you can come back to lead. So thank you. Even though that time you spent away from us, you're back and you're wanting to lead the city. Now a little bit harder question, because we talked about misinformation. The internet is a wild, lawless place. We know that. You can say anything and do anything on the internet. But one thing you constantly see on the internet is a fear of a transient population, a fear fear of this, a fear of that. Now, I grew up in a united Johnstown, and I believe that Johnstown could be united again. Each candidate, what are your steps? And I know you all spoke a little bit to us, but can you give us just a shorter bit of an answer, what you would do to fight to get Johnstown unified again, and what do you think the detractors are, of the detractors that are causing the disunification of Johnstown?
Okay. All right, let's just be honest, okay? It is the people from Philadelphia, okay? That's what is said. The problem with that is that that statement in of itself causes discord. It causes division. It causes a us and them mentality. And have we not learned anything from that? I don't care who you are or where you're from. There's just as many criminals from Johnstown here as there are from Philadelphia, sad to say. So I am one of these type of persons that I treat everybody the same, you know, unless you give me a reason not to. This is still the United States of America, and we can move wherever we choose to move. Perhaps maybe if we were just maybe a little bit more inviting, that we didn't put the division there by throwing up the roadblocks. And then the other part of it is that, like you said, through the internet, there's a whole bunch of hypocrisy, because you claim you have an issue with the people that come here from out of town, but then on the other hand, soon as something goes on, you want to jump and be their captain, you know, and you want to save them from whatever the issue is, so that you can get your face out there, so that you can get attention, to make it seem like, oh, you saved these people, you saved them from, you know, these mean people in Johnstown. So you need to make up your mind. If everybody would just be respectful of one another, that would go a long way. I do believe in that. You just respect your fellow man. I can't stop anybody from moving here, just like when I left here and moved, nobody could stop me from moving where I moved, you know, and nobody said to me, oh, well, she's from Pennsylvania, she shouldn't be here. Some people escape trying to have a better life. Maybe it works out, maybe it does not work out. But nonetheless, as a citizen of the United States, they are still awarded and afforded that opportunity. But I just believe that if we would be respectful to one another, if we would treat each other with respect, that would go a long way. I know a lot of people that have moved here who have become very successful, who have opened businesses and are thriving and are doing well. Are there people that have moved here that have really done wrong and brought fear and torment into the city? Yes, there are, okay? There's the good and there is the bad. The question is, which one are you? Are you the one that is trying to do good, or are you the one that is just sees the bad? This is why I encourage anyone, when you move into a neighborhood, get to know your community group. Try to be a part of the community group. Try to reach out to them and become a part of that. I do believe that when people are part of a bigger cause, if you will, you know, that it causes them to become more connected, and that brings out the betterment.
I got a lot to say about this one. So, I'm going to try not to be too long. I'm going to start off by first saying about, on a national level, immigration. Okay, and that is going to get to my point about Johnstown here. Right on my arm here, I have tattooed one of the promises of our country that's described on the Statue of Liberty, and that is, give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free. I lift my lamp at the golden door. That was how another country at one point in time viewed us, as a country, as a saviors, so you say, of the world. to come here to find a better life. Immigration is the biggest reason this country has been successful, because it's a melting pot of people, ideas, and views, whether we agree, disagree, or come to a common consensus. With that being said, I want Johnstown to be a place where people want to come and live. So I don't care where you come from. You're gonna have good, you're gonna have bad, you're gonna have indifferent. Or if you grew up here and you want to come back, I want that too. And I can tell you this at the end of the day, from being in business and working with all different types of people from all different backgrounds all the time, every single day. I work 7 days a week. And I see people come in the store and say, I haven't been here in 40 years, but no, I retired and I'm moving back home. I see people that say, you know what? It just was a cheaper life to live here, and I moved here, and now I want to be a part of the community. And then of course we see the bad. We can't ignore the bad, and we won't ignore the bad. But we also don't want to ignore the good that has come here too. Whether it's Philadelphia, I don't care where it's from. It doesn't matter. They want to be a part of the community. They should be welcome here. And you're going to have people, the naysayers, no matter what. And then to get to the social media aspect of it from a city perspective, right? You're absolutely right. We see it all the time, whether it be misinformation, whether it be abject lies about wherever it's coming from. It doesn't matter. But one of the things that we're working on right now that we can do and we will do in the city is start live streaming our council meetings, having whether it's going to be on YouTube, whether it's going to be on Twitter, whether it's going to be on Facebook. We can do all those things, and we're going to do all those things. We're also in the midst of trying to get them back on television. But to me, the live streaming aspect of it is way more important, because way more people are streaming things now, not using cable. So we're already doing that. And I can say this, I will also say this about just generally about crime and people coming here from out of the area. No, we cannot solve everything with police action, but we still have to support our police. And that's what we just did. Just a few months ago, we gave them a 19% raise to help keep the good in town and attract more people that want to come be a part of a good police force. So that's what I would say.
So, my opinion on this is I'm a big believer that your words really do have power. And I teach domestic violence intervention programs. And one of the things I teach is don't use overgeneralizing statements, right? Because there's always a bad apple in the bunch. So we can't overgeneralize doctors by saying all doctors are bad because we had one bad experience with a doctor, right? So we can't say that a couple people from out of town who chose the wrong path, now everybody from out of town is bad, right? Or everybody from out of town is a troublemaker. So I believe that if we continue utilizing the neighborhood groups that are already established and establish the ones that are not yet established and use our words to encourage those who come in, right? Encourage those ones to come into the neighborhood group. And those neighborhood group leaders encourage them, hey, here are some resources. How can we help you acclimate to our area? What do you need to help? What help do you need from us? Because you're in our neighborhood. So as a neighborhood, let's encourage you, let's uplift you with our words, instead of, like Taylor said, Miss Sylvia said, going to social media, using negative rhetoric, and discouraging people. Because all that does is it on a big scale, it hurts the neighborhoods versus help them. So, my goal is to be a part of the neighborhood groups, keep those established, work with those leaders so that we can encourage those who are coming into our neighborhoods from out of different areas.
I'm a firm believer that it's not about where you're from, it's about where you're at. So if we're all here, we're all here. It doesn't matter the reason why someone migrated. It doesn't matter, because we have to stop policing people. People move for different reasons, and whatever their reasons for moving and relocating is their own. So for us to tell someone you're not allowed to move here and you're not allowed to live here is beyond me.
because we can't police people. People are allowed to migrate and move. Look how America was formed. We're all here from different walks of life and different places. So if we can just get the people that are moving here to just, if we can be friendlier to people in general, we would be okay. We have to be friendly, and we have to have more of a community presence, because the problem is we're using words like out-of-towners, Philadelphians. We're using words to incite people to be angry. It's like they want people to be angry, and they want people to be mad, and this is what it is, because they want to sow dissoil, because they don't want togetherness, they don't want unity. We're working for a better Johnstown. This is why you see people with all different walks of life that are running for council. I'm going to stay in the community. I want to be a part of the conversations where the communities are at. I want to be in every single neighborhood. That's where I feel like we can make the difference if we integrate ourselves with individuals so we understand, because how can you be a part of a conversation if you're not a part of the community? That's where I stand on it, because you have to be in the community to know what the community needs. So if you're not in the community, how do you know the needs and the wants of the people? You're going off of hearsay. So you have to know what's actually needed, and once it is needed, we have to stop being so judgmental of what it is. So I just believe that if we just come together and be united and stand for good, just stand for good, what's purposeful, what's right, what's going to move us forward. All the other negativity is negativity. In this season, we don't have time for negativity, because we need change, and we need change to happen, and we need there to be something better and something more. Johnstown has already made so many steps in the right direction, but the negativity is so loud. No one already sees the amazing things that are happening and that Johnstown is doing and that people are doing. People are coming together. People are trying, but we just see negativity. And sometimes that's the loudest thing in the room, but we have to still keep going forward despite it all.
Thank you for those answers. Does anyone out here have any questions for our candidate? Okay, here we go.
Oh, just one question for Sylvia.
Speak to the mic.
Will there be a debate, for a mayoral debate?
October 16th, 5:30 WJAC.
Okay, just checking.
And allow me to say this about Courtney. Courtney's last name is King. Courtney and I are not related. There in this United States that we live in, there's more than one family of Kings, and everybody that has the last name of King is not related to me. So before anybody wants to say that it's my family doing everything, but I do have a large family, and I'm proud of that. And we are a close-knit group of people, but guess what? I consider Courtney my niece because of the closeness. Courtney, and I'll tell you a quick story. Courtney's mother, her name is Sylvia King, okay? Courtney's
Same
aunt,
middle initial and everything.
yeah, and the same middle initial. Courtney's aunt, Marcia, and my sister, Pat, were best friends and business partners. While her mother's name is Sylvia King, I actually have a niece named Courtney. So often it even leads to confusion within our own families, okay? Courtney's mother is married to a man named Steve, and they fry catfish, okay? So sometimes it gets confusing because people want to know who is Steve and how come I didn't tell them that I was frying catfish. That is not me, okay? So I just wanted to make that point perfectly clear.
Thank you for that. And yes, hi Mom, hi Dad.
I wanted to say one more thing. To Lorraine's point at the very end when you were talking about negativity. You're right that it can be the loudest thing in the room. But I'll tell you what, and I know these three here know this because we've actually been out talking to people. You might hear negativity, you might be told all this negativity if that's your only source of looking for negativity, right? But when you go out to the people, you talk to communities, you talk to the people that actually live in the city, and even people that don't, and live around the city, all you hear is, yeah, we have a lot, we could be fixing, but there's a lot of good going on too. So the negativity that you hear from anyone is people that are not actually out there trying to fix it.
Thank you for that. And here's just a quick kind of a softball question for each of you. What is your personal mission statement? If you were a business, what is your personal mission statement so we know who you are as a person, what your core values are, and what you stand firm on? What would be your core mission statement?
Good question. You are good to be challenging, okay? If I could sum it up in one word, I would say unity. That is what I'm about, because united we stand. When people come together, they can make things happen. Divided we fall. I am persuaded that if 2 or 3 people just agree, they can change things. But how much more would things be able to change if more people would just become united? Drown out the noise, and that noise is the negativity. As a people, as individuals, if we just stay focused on the future and focus on what it is that we can do. Everybody has a plan. Everybody can do something. What can you contribute? You be the light. You be the change. Then we can begin to move forward.
Again, really good question. Honestly, probably 3 words: open, honest, transparent. That's what I've said since day one. And for those of you that don't know, I am on city council right now. I was appointed just 5 months ago. And so that is what I said then. That is what I still say now. And I believe, and honestly, it's worked for me. I've told 1,000 people, if I've told one, that if I don't know something, I'll tell you I don't know. About find out for you. I have committed myself to just being honest with people, telling them this might be the way, you might not like it, but this is how it is now. This is what we should do to change it, so on and so forth. And I've found that really, if you're just open and honest with people and just talk to people on their level, you'll be all right. And so that's been since day one what I've wanted to do, is just, I can talk to you all day long. If we have a disagreement, that's okay. But I'll be honest with you, and I'll always be transparent with the public.
So I want to say first, service and love are action words, right? So for me, I love my city, and I love to serve. So most of you can tell I'm very short in stature. So my motto is I'm a small woman ready to make a big impact, and I want to be a servant leader. I want to be an example for those who don't think they can succeed, and I want to be the change that I desire to see for our city. And that mindset, that desire is so big because Johnstown is special. It is a special place. So that would be, what you say, my pitch,
Your
my
mission
story.
statement.
If I would have a mission statement, I would probably have 2. Mine would be no secrets, just solutions. There's this negative conversation that there's always a secret. It's like we have something that's secret that's going on. We don't have anything secret that's going on. It's just the fact that sometimes resources are not being utilized to the best ability that we could utilize them. But I don't have any secrets. My goal is to be honest. My grand used to always say, plain talk, bad manners. So, and to be honest with people and to have integrity. If you say you're going to do something, be that person, stand for something and be bold. And if anything, I'm going to represent the kingdom of heaven. So my goal is to build people. I believe if you have a pulse, you have a purpose. I want everyone to be able to find their God-given purpose, because you are able to help wherever you're at. So if anything, mine will be put people first.
I just wanted to piggyback on something Taylor said about being open, honest, and transparent. Most people have absolutely no idea what goes on or what goes into the day-to-day operations at the city. And one thing I will, for lack of a better word, criticize council, the city about, is that we don't toot our own horn. And when I say that, is that we just put our head down and go and do the work, and never really stop to say, hey, this is what we did, this is why we did it, and these are the reasons why we made the decisions. And I know that's because soon as you get one thing, there's another thing in the hopper already waiting, and you really don't get the opportunity to adequately articulate what really happened with the last project before you move on to the next one. And that is an issue of ours. Now, with the whole not being televised, when Atlantic Broadband changed to Breeze Line, because council meetings were being televised, and then when that happened, there was a issue. But now that that's being resolved, the council meetings will be back on Breeze Line. But then, as he said, because so many people don't have cable, you'll be able to see it via live stream on different platforms. That will make a difference, and then you will be able to be a part of those meetings yourself. You can record them, you can be there when they go on. But council is still an open door policy, where the second Wednesday of every month at 6 o'clock, anyone can come to a council meeting and be a part of that. And then you won't have to listen to what somebody else says and then take their word for their color commentary of what's going on. But I do say that we don't stop to actually say what exactly happened and what was going on, because we're on to the next project, because things really happen that fast on during the day-to-day operations.
I want to add to that. Absolutely right. So you and I have just talked recently about the communication aspect,
Yes.
right? And we absolutely need to be better at that. But Sylvia's absolutely right when she says that, because it is. I've been there 5 months, and it really is like that. It's just straight, like, for example, Central Park project, okay, it's underway. Now I'm thinking about the Main Street project now, 2028. You know, that's where I'm at. But I have tried recently to put more stuff out there on social media about what's going on, about what we're doing. But really, it is like that, because usually, in my mind, I guess, and what I've noticed is we like to say what's done when it's done. You know, I mean, we don't communicate very well through the process. So I think we're trying to do that a lot better now, and I think we are. And if any of you have noticed, the city of Johnstown has a Facebook page now, and they've been sharing updates on the Facebook page, which has been good. And if anybody follows me, I continue to update on Central Park probably every 2 weeks or so about what's going on, and I'm going to continue to try and do that as best as I can. But just to echo what Sylvia said, it is. Sometimes I don't even think about it. Like I'll be honest with you, my first knee-jerk reaction when I'm actually doing the work is not to put it on Facebook. You know what I mean? Because we're actually working. That's the thing about it. And the other thing that I've said 1,000 times, I've put it on social media 1,000 times, and I'll say it right here, right now. If you ever have any questions about something that I might have missed, my number is 814-525-7132. I put it on, so that's my personal cell phone number. Call me anytime. Like I said, the whole point is to be transparent and honest. I don't know your number off the top of my head. Not off the top of my head.
814-244-2737, but probably most of Johnstown knows that number.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Now, a question that I have, because I grew up, my family is from Johnstown. I grew up in Kernville, and as I ride through different neighborhoods, I can speak to my grandparents' house. It is a missing hole. The house is gone. And I know people want to live and revitalize Johnstown in different ways. Blight is an issue, housing is an issue, affordable housing, and I will even say it, kind of unscrupulous landlords are an issue. And being in a town where we love big, we live big, but we don't spend big because we don't have a lot of money, and that's okay. What are your plans for revitalizing and housing in Johnstown so people want to stay?
I'll take that one. Okay. First, I think I'll address the whole issue with the landlords, because it is an issue. There are some unscrupulous people who are taking advantage of people, and they're living in places paying $900 to $1,000 worth of rent, and the places are substandard, and they don't report them because they feel that they don't have anywhere else to move to. The federal minimum wage is still $7.25 an hour. And sometimes I think we forget that. And that is certainly below poverty, a poverty wage. So for that cause, there's oftentimes people cannot live in the public housing community for various reasons. We talk about the public housing community, but very grateful that we have the public housing community because of the federal minimum wage being so low. And if that's where you're working, or that's how you're working, you almost need to live in a public housing community in order to be able to afford to live. If not, you're subjected to possibly living in, as I said, a substandard place. People will not turn in their landlords for various reasons. Now, we do have rental registrations that people are, landlords should abide by renting, registering your property, and then your property should be inspected. There is a housing issue. There's not enough housing. We have blight, but we also have vacant homes. So many of our elderly people have passed on, and just like we all said, we left, but we came back. So many left and they have not come back. So if you have not come back, your home that you grew up in, you may try to be a landlord for a while, and then guess what? You decide, this isn't for me, and you walk away and you leave that home there. Now it becomes the burden of the city, because that home is deteriorating. We do have a program called a land bank, and it's run through the Johnstown Redevelopment Authority, that if you do see a home maybe that you know that is vacant in your neighborhood, and you feel that you might want to purchase that home, you should call the Johnstown Redevelopment Authority and talk to Michelle to find, and she can give you information to let you know what the background on that house is, as far as whether there's liens, judgments, taxes, the whole 9 yards, you know, and maybe that's something perhaps that you can actually, a home that you can actually purchase. Now, I'm saying that because there is another program that I am currently working on. And what it is that, let's say you find a vacant home, and that home is, maybe you can get it for $10,000. However, the home needs about $50,000 worth of repairs in order to come up to code. No one currently is going to give you a mortgage for $60,000, okay? Because $50,000 of work needs to be done in the home. And I'm just making numbers up, please understand, okay? It is a mortgage rehab program whereby you can get a mortgage loan to not only purchase the home, but to rehab the home, all with the same loan, okay? So that, and that is, such a program does exist, okay? So this is what I am currently working on, so that a person can be able to purchase that home that they've been seeing that is set vacant, that really, if someone would just get in there and put the money into it, that home would be a viable option. And we have many of those homes around town that would help solve our problems, okay, when it comes to housing. I'm grateful to live on a street where we just received a brand new home built at the end of the street, the first one in over 10 years. And I love my neighbor, you know, so I am blessed to be a part of that. And that is an initiative that is ongoing. So the housing in this town is going to take a lot of work, and it's going to take time, and it's going to take effort, but it is being addressed.
Thank you for that. And that's some information that I did not know. So if you're watching live and you've ever thought about owning a home or what it takes to maintain a home in Johnstown, please seek out your city council. Please seek out City Hall. Please get those resources, because without knowing, you're in the dark, and no one wants to be in the dark. So thank you for that information, and please, Taylor, continue.
So I'll say a couple more things about that too. When I wanted to talk a little bit about tax sale. The city gets blamed all the time for this. All the time. And why is the city allowing these out-of-towners to buy this stuff sight unseen? They don't even come look at it. That's the county. All right, let's keep that in mind. So the city, we need to start doing a better job at working alongside the commissioners in the county and trying to come up with ways of, you know, people buying up property within the city without even seeing it and just letting it sit there or rot. And we need to do that, and we can do that through the land bank. We can, as long as we work more closely with the county and the commissioners, which believe me, we are doing now, and we will continue to do. Now, the other thing too that's very important is the city used to have a first-time home buyers program, and we can easily bring that back. Yeah, we still have it. It's just not as advertised, and we don't use it. We don't partner with right, and we don't partner with enough banks to help with it. We need to, which we can do. Obviously, Sylvia knows that better than anybody else, because that's the whole point. Sure, we have public housing, but I think we can all agree here that we would want more people to have their own home, because what happens when somebody owns their own home, it eventually will bring prosperity, wealth, and really generational wealth as well. And it changes, exactly. So those are the things that we can do. And now having the land bank, and believe me, I've taken some time to try and understand the land bank, because it is difficult to understand to me sometimes too. It's a very important step forward, especially for the tax sale houses. Now, on a positive note, like I said, because like I've said 1,000 times, I don't focus on negativity. I don't think anybody else here does either. We like to focus on the positive as far as blight removal. In the past few years, the city has removed over 750 blighted properties. And the thing that we now have to do with those blighted properties is work on revitalizing those areas, whether that be playground, whether that be common area, whether that used to be keeping up with cutting the grass, you know what I mean? And we're doing that. And we can do that through more codes enforcement, better codes enforcement, and the hiring of more codes officers eventually, hopefully, as well, too.
Thank you for those answers. Now, as we're wrapping up, because we have some s'mores over there, I would like each candidate to give us your hopes and dreams for Johnstown. They know they tell people, like, when you sit down with somebody, what's your 5-year plan? I hated that in my 20s. My 5-year plan was just to get to the next frat party. But anyway, what is your 5-year plan? What are your hopes, your dreams? What do you want Johnstown to look like under your leadership and tutelage in the next 5 years?
So if I was to have a 5-year plan for Johnstown, it would be togetherness and unity. It would be that we can build so that my babies don't have to move to actually have a lifestyle. My sons are in the process of moving. They're finishing school, and I don't want them to have to leave out of Johnstown in order to do so. So that would be my plan, is just to see more togetherness, more unity, and to get back to grassroots, knowing who people are, knowing the neighborhoods, knowing who's in your neighborhood, little things like that. Thank you.
I'm trying to be quick because I definitely want to hear this band. 8-1 Funk?
Yes.
8-1 Funk, okay? So I definitely want to hear this band that's getting ready to come up. But my goal is to have a more unified Johnstown, a more unified community where we can get back to wearing that motto of being clean, safe, and friendly. I would also like to see a greater initiative with financial empowerment to help people get out of their poverty-stricken conditions, because that will help to stabilize our neighborhoods. That would help to bring more businesses in town. And when I say in town, I'm not just talking downtown, I'm talking in our communities as well. That will also cut down on a lot of our crime. I also, one of my dreams is I would like to establish a junior city council made up of young people from the high school who would that we would meet with on a regular basis, because it's very important that we hear what they have to say and we hear about their dreams and their goals and their aspirations, because as we build, we are building with them in mind, not with us in mind. And I do have one other thing, but I'm going to kind of keep that under wraps, okay? That and it's something personal that I would like to see happen in the area of mental, spiritual, physical, and emotional health.
I think what I would like to see more than anything is twofold. Number one, a vibrant and bustling central business district downtown. I definitely want to see that. Because I remember growing up at the store with my dad and my grandfather. You know, I started working with my dad when I was 8 years old, cleaning shoes at Miller's. And I remember being the only business open on that street. And now if you look at Main Street, it looks a whole lot different than it did 25 years ago. But it still could be a lot better. I want to see more foot traffic in the central business district, and I want to see more business. Second, I want to see more interconnected and I guess you'd say informed neighborhoods. There's still to me, I live in Roxbury, and there's still to me around my neighborhood, I can go to my neighbor and have dinner and talk and sit down. You know, I want to see that everywhere, because it shouldn't be just for certain communities, it's for everyone. I want to be able to come over here and talk to anybody just because I want to talk, you know, and that's really what I want. Now, to Sylvia's point, what she said about the junior city council, I would love to help you with that.
You're on my team.
Oh, I would love to help with that, because one of the things I had the opportunity to do when I was 16 years old, which is one of the best things that ever happened to me in my lifetime, and I was able to, we didn't have much money at the time, and I was able to raise the money to go, was I got invited to the National Young Leaders Conference in Washington, D.C. And it was started by President Eisenhower, and it was a conference to get young people involved in government. And we staged a whole thing. We staged a presidential election, which I won, by the way. We staged a Supreme Court case, and we staged a session of Congress, right? And it was really, really informative, and it was still something that anybody, even if you're not interested in government, if you could have been a part of it, it was just incredible. So to have something like that here, that would be incredible. I'd love to help you work with that.
I believe my 5-year plan is really simple, because, like I stated before, my experience with coming back and starting over and using programs like the Jari Workforce Program, my 5-year plan is that I want to see more people take advantage of those resources. I want to see more people be successful and accomplish their goals and their dreams, so that eventually we won't need as much housing. We won't need as many of these resources because we've already established a flow. We've already established and encouraged people to use the resource that we already have. So that is my 5-year plan.
Thank you, and I want to, as we wrap up and close, I want to thank all of these candidates for coming out, being transparent, being informative, being teachable, and again, voting matters. My grandfather passed away at 103 years old, and one of the last things he did was vote, and he instilled that into us, he instilled it into his daughters, and I'll instill that into my children and nieces, so thank you. I love being a part of local government. Thank you for just pulling me out. That's that church. Be ye also ready, because I was over there making s'mores. But a quick thing about Reverend Sylvia. She was the first female pastor I ever saw. And I was like, wow, a woman can do that. So that's inspiring to me and how I live my life, knowing Lorraine, knowing Jasmine, and meeting you. I saw that Deathly Hallows tattoo. But thank you again for enjoying this day with us and these festivities. Visit your local playgrounds. And I'm going to end with that. Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you.
You are excellent.